Are you ready? Guess what? I couldn't help it. We're going to do onion soup today. And before me, I have everything that you're going to need to make the onion soup. Obviously, we have onions. I've got these already cut. I will cut one more for your edification. Bouillon, Worcestershire sauce, pepper, 4 tablespoons of butter, water, and that good Parmesan cheese to put on top of the croutons. We don't need these right yet, so I'll put these in the back. All right. Be prepared. We're going to need a couple of measuring spoons, a 1/4 teaspoon spoon, and a 1 teaspoon. Ready. Small knife, large knife. I know, what's this doing? I'll explain that later. I like to keep a bowl for garbage, so I don't have to keep going to the basket. So that's what this is for. And then, of course, the trusty, I've talked to you about this before. One of the best things that you want to have on hand in your house is the bench scoop. This thing really keeps you from dropping food all over the place. So to begin with, sharpen my knife. We've talked about this. Don't do anything without a sharp knife. We are going to do our onion. And one of the things about this, I had done it, sliced my onions originally on a mandolin, which made it really go really fast. Didn't have a whole bunch of tears because it went so fast, but they were too big. I ended up having to cut them all down because you need the onions to be of a reasonable size so they're not hanging over your spoon, dripping on your clothes and dripping on your chin. Besides, the stuff is hot and it burns. The soup is hot. So just saying that. So, and there was another thing I was going to mention to you. I think when I did the butternut, or the sweet potato squash, you saw me going through one of these. I have a replacement shoulder. There are some motions that I just can't do anymore. So I've switched to a littler knife to accomplish that. Let's get some of this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Hand flat. Let's not cut any fingers. Please and thank you. Okay, now this, that I did it that way, I have to do that now. See, I can learn new tricks. Doesn't have to be terribly fancy. But you want medium-sized pieces. All right. Now I'm down to the nub. I'm not going to waste any of that onion. I'm going to waste all those tears for nothing. Okay. Now this recipe calls for 6 cups of onion, 6 onions, which I now want to see. What a mess I'm making. Don't do as I do, do as I say. I'm curious. Woohoo! Love onion juice. That's sulfur. In case you didn't know what was making you cry. Obviously, our eyes don't like sulfur. All right. Little knife. I have tried everything. Nothing is going to stop the tearing. It just goes with onions. All right. I suggest a big pan that you've got room to cook your onions in. All right. Let's say that that's 1 cup plus a kiss. Forgot to kiss, smack. Okay, there you go. Now I've pre-cut these. What I'm trying to see is how many cups of onions 6 medium onions really turns into. 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 and whatever, and whatever's left in the bag. So we are close to 6 cups. And the reason I'm telling you this, the reason I went through this silliness, is because this takes time to cut the onions. You should cry. Gives you nice stinky hands. All of these things to look forward to. You can buy chopped onions in the freezer section at your grocery store. So if you know you want 6 cups of onions, get the freezer bag. You want to make it even quicker than going through all of this. Buy enough. What, cup is 8 ounces? Buy as many ounces as you need for 6 cups of onions. Shortcut. Oh, it might help if I turned on the stove. Just a minor thing. Okay. Ah, got the right one. Yay. Well, that little stinker doesn't want to come. All right. 4 tablespoons of butter in this pan. My hands are clean. I just washed them. See how nice that bowl is? Okay. Paper towel. Now, and this also calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, which I add at this point. Yeah, right, I knew that wouldn't fit. Surprisingly, how well the pepper works with it. Okay, now we are going to work. This is going to take a while. It's the only, I guess what I would say, time-consuming part of this whole process is cooking the onions down. I will be stirring them. Yes, I will be stirring them. Let me see. Let's get this thing going. And are you with me? This is just the tedious part. Wrong one. Okay. Another tedious part of this, while we're waiting for the onions to get together. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you get your onions at the freezer section at your grocery store, that's one tedium that you don't have to go through. I think you can get bouillon now that you can use by the teaspoonful. I don't know if these are considered a teaspoonful. I suppose it could be. But there's very little tedium to this other than opening these silly things, which are a very pretty color. Do you want to save them, do something for Christmas? Not. Anyway, just a thought. Oh, I know what I wanted talk about, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, I got a little bored with television this weekend. So I was watching YouTube. And one of the things that they showed, which I had never thought of, which you may or may not already know, is to take a bar of soap and rub it all over the mirrors in your bathroom. Now, is this going to be hard to take care of? No. I rubbed the soap all over my mirrors, one mirror, just because this was a test. And I thought, oh, this is going to take elbow grease. No, I took a towel and was able to wipe it all down. Took my shower, and it worked. The mirror didn't all mist up. The one on the side misted up. This one did not. So, you know, just a thought. You might want to try that. I like watching those, 5 different things you can do with not much of anything. I had a whole bunch of them with toothpaste. I'm going, really? Okay. This is fiddly. Can you hear? It's starting to cook. What we want to achieve is to cook our onions golden. And this is going to take a bit. I tried it when I made this soup that's already ready to go to be served, so that I would have something to serve my tasters. And I did it in a pot. Learned the hard way. Don't do it in a pot. It takes so long for the onions to cook, which is why I have the frying pan today. Hoping I'll have more surface for the onions to cook on. Okay, we'll let that do its thing. I've had some questions about when we did the sweet potato soup show. I know quite a few people enjoyed that sweet potato soup, and I'm very happy to hear that. You can add some pepperoni seeds to it to make it a little bit hotter if that's to your taste. It still is very good soup. But I was asked about the sweet potatoes themselves. What do you do with them? I don't do anything with them. Don't put them in the refrigerator. They need to stay dry. If you put them in the refrigerator, they're going to absorb moisture and will probably mold. I have kept sweet potatoes in a basket weeks, and it's still fine. One of the other things that I do with my sweet potatoes, and it's so absolutely yummy, is to wash it very good, wrap it in aluminum foil, put it in the 350 oven for an hour to 2, and then take it out, and when you open it up carefully, because it's very hot, it's so good. It's soft, it's sweet. Never have any of that to throw away. Okay. Onions. One of the things, like I said, my lovely sweet smelling hands right now. If you rub your hands on metal under the sink, it's going to take that smell of the onion away. Do for garlic, do for onion. That's much better already. And I haven't got the running water. Red onions. Love the suckers. Love them, love them, love them. Sometimes they're very strong. And if you have an issue with that, something you can do is to slice your red onions and put them in cold water. Leave them in there for 3 to 5 minutes. Drain them out. They're still crunchy. They're still good, but they're not bite you. I've done that now for quite some time, and it really works, especially in salads where all of a sudden you get a crunch of this really strong onion. This way you don't have that, but you still have the red onion taste. I have a list. Oh, and if you have onions and you're going to make this by cutting all your onions yourself, cut as many onions as you want, put them in a baggie, put them in your freezer. Onions freeze very well. Onion soup, which is water, onions, and a few other little things, freezes very well. Make it up ahead of time. Make a double batch. Take a little longer, 2 frying pans then for the onions, I would suggest. We're starting to get the butter to melt. All right, it is a beginning. We have one that thinks it's going to get away. This is the longest, most difficult part. You can walk away from this, don't have it up too high. Walk away and come back, you can do that. Okay, so we have done that, and that. Oh, I told you about the soap and mirror. Told you about the awkward knife. When I was doing those onions, I did mention to you to cut them small because they've got to fit on a spoon. You don't want long, stringy onions hanging over the sides of your spoon. It's sloppy. Let's stay neat. I did tell you I tried on the mandolin. One of the things that I've talked to some people about is 6 bouillon cubes. It's salty. My original recipe, and this recipe was given to me by my mother-in-law many, many years ago. And I've enjoyed it, but I haven't had it recently. And I made it over the weekend, so I'd have one for here. And I had a little bowl of it, and I went, ooh, salt, salt. What am I going to do? Add more water. So the original recipe called for 5 cups of water. I added an extra and found it bearable. If for you it's still salty, add another cup of water. Maybe you want to go half a cup at a time so you don't water it down completely. But I don't think there's anything wrong with adding a little bit more water because these suckers are very strong. Okay, that being said, the salt. Talking again about salt, and I have mentioned I like salt. They keep trying to get away. When I cook soups, stews, whatever, I add a vegetable, a little bit of salt. I add another vegetable, a little bit of salt. You know, you've heard the term, salt as you go. Well, by the time I get all done, I've ended up with salt soup. So learning, still learning, I don't add the salt. And I still add. I won't say I don't, but I get all my veggies in there first, then put a little bit of salt on it, stir it up and let it cook. I never add pepper at that point in time because it makes the pepper bitter. The pepper goes in if you're going to add pepper at the end, unlike this time where you added it with the onions. If what you're cooking becomes too salty, there is a remedy. Cut up a potato. Add a potato, chunks of potato to whatever it is, and cook that potato done. The potato would just naturally absorb the salt for you. Thank you, potato. It's really saved a lot of my soups. If you're doing a stew, you can leave the potato in. It's not going to make the stew more salty because it's just salted the potato. So that's a little thing that you can run with for that. Again, waiting on these onions. They're starting to get a little bit yellow, probably from the butter. Now let's look at that pan, which is finally getting some color in it. You can see that those white onions now have a golden cooked look to them. You can cook them a little bit more, but I'm happy with this. They're cooking. In fact, we're to the point that I think I'll turn that down a little bit. Now we add, I believe I have 6 cups of water, having learned from when I made it this weekend. Uh-oh. 5. Aha. 6. I did do it right. Yay for me. Okay, I've added 6 cups of water to that. 6 bouillon cubes. Maybe a little bit gentler so that you don't have to mess up your stove. Stirring, stirring, stirring. To that is, I believe, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Whoops, where are you? There you are. This stuff is, I use this when I make my own barbecue sauce. I use this a lot. It just adds a good back deep flavor to whatever you're cooking. Okay. That's going to be happy. It has a nice smell too. All right, so now we just, actually we're done. The hardest, the longest part was cooking those onions. So now we're just going to get the, you can see as it's turning browner, you can go off, as it's turning browner, it's the bouillon melting in. Doesn't take too long. Starting to smell pretty good. Okay, why did I bring this? Again on YouTube this weekend. Anyway, I have a pet peeve. Everybody's entitled to a few pet peeves. And one of mine has to do with salads. I find it very gross to watch people eating salad and shoving this mouthful of greens that's hanging out of their mouth, pushing it into their mouth to have their salad. Okay, whatever. I like to cut mine up, but it takes time. YouTube! Put my lettuce greens on here. Put it in my salad bowl. Now, instead of spending time tearing, this is a no patience Evelyn, spending time tearing. No, let's take the pizza cutter. And I have nice bite-sized pieces for my salad. Thought you might like to know about that. Not your pet peeve. It's okay. It's mine. Now, Parmesan cheese. This is Parmesan Romano. Maybe there was a third one. You gotta buy the big bag of it. Don't use as much as I used to, but you have to have it for onion soup. You have to. Okay, we're done. We're just waiting to eat. Back to the soup. Ah, look at that lovely color. It's getting darker and darker. So while we're here, and this continues to cook, you know, keeping the handles away so you don't wear what you're cooking, I'm going to bring this one over for a minute to show you the color I'm looking for. This one's all done. See how much a little bit browner it is than this one? Which means not too much, but this has got just, I don't know, maybe 5 more minutes. And then we have lots of onion soup. Okay. If I can do this without, you suppose they're going to make me come back and clean this stove, I would think. Yeah, you're right. Almost there. Okay. Two scoops of onion soup. Can you see that? What I do want to show you, I don't have any onions hanging down. The onions are cut small enough that they fit. Ah, there's a hanging down there. But they cut small enough to fit in the spoon. I love standing on my mic. Now, to gild the lily, so to speak, I love these things. And normally when I'm trying to do this, I have wet hands, right? Take that. Little donks. Now, if you're an onion soup lover, you know what's going to happen to this cheese. It's going to melt into the soup. That's it. That wasn't hard, was it? Other than cooking those silly onions. Ooh, it's starting to melt. Can you see? The cheese is starting to melt. Ooh, yummy. Well, okay, you forced me into it. I'll try it. Gosh, I love this stuff. This is so good. Well, I'll have one more. I put 6 cups of water in, and I might be tempted to put another half a cup of water in. It's salty, it's not overpowering, but you can still taste the salt. So another half a cup of water at a time till you get it to the salinity that you can stand. Oh, you're forcing me to eat this, you mean people. Okay, I can sit here and yum, yum, yum. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy your onion soup. It's not hard to make. It's very hearty. Thank you for watching. God bless all of you, and see you again next time. Bye-bye.